Hi everyone, this is Carrie Cudney here to show you how to use Blendabilities. Now to start with, there's not one right and wrong technique. Everybody kind of has their own personal preference. You can go from dark to light, or you can go from light to dark. Some people like to use a lighter hand and get a more watercolor look, and some people like to really layer on that color to get an intense, vibrant look. I like to color with these just like I would color with crayons because the color goes on so smooth and doesn't give you any streak lines like this. Or you can color with them from dark to light or light to dark to get more of a blended look with shadows and highlights. You just kind of have to practice with them until you find what works best for you. Now, no matter how you decide to color with them, I do have some tips to help you be successful. The first one is to use Whisper White cardstock as you are starting out because that will give you the best image and color with your markers. The next one is to use a Memento ink pad for your stamped image. And you also want to make sure that you give it 30 seconds or so to dry before you start coloring. And that will ensure that your outline doesn't smear or fade at all as you're coloring over it. Now to begin coloring, with this flower I'm using Melon Mambo and I'm going to go from dark to light. I'm using my fine tip to add some shadows, and I'm just going to color a small section of the blended bloom flower. This is a great image to start out with because it's organic and natural, and so it's forgiving if my shadows and highlights aren't all in the exact right place. So I'll just do a few petals. I'm just kind of imagining if the sun was shining on this, then I would have some shadows where these petals are overlapping each other, maybe a little bit down here and towards the center. So there's my dark color. Now I'll come in with my medium shade, again with my fine tip, and I'm using small circular motions to blend this. Remember, your goal is to blend the colors. You don't want any harsh lines. So you don't want to color right next to the color, but you want to start on the darker color and kind of bring it down so that you're blending the two colors together. Small circular or feathery strokes. Now I'll come in with my lightest color. Now if it looks kind of weird as you're coloring, don't worry, that's normal. You won't know, or you won't be able to tell how beautiful it will be until you get all done and the colors dry and are completely blended. So again, I'm coloring over all of my dark and light, kind of blending them together with my lightest color. For blending, sometimes you can use the brush tip is great for when you really get down to blending the colors. So I'll kind of switch and use the brush tip for a minute. And I won't take the time to do the whole flower. You can see what it looks like here when I'm done. Use patience and just color each of those petals around the flower going from dark to light, or if you prefer to go light to dark, you can try that as well. Just really layer on the color and blend out any lines or streaks you get. Now I also wanted to talk about the color lifter. It's called a color lifter, but it doesn't really lift color. What it does is kind of blend or push the color. So you can use it as a design tool. Come in and add some highlights to your flower if you want to. If I had gone out of the lines, like I did a little bit right here, I can use it to kind of push the color back into the lines. Don't think of it as an eraser though. It won't completely remove the color, it just kind of blends it and gives it a softer look. Another really fun thing about Blendabilities is that since they are alcohol markers, you can color on anything. Here's a card here where we colored on some of the rhinestones to give those little accents a pop of color. On this card, we've colored some buttons to give those a pop of color. And on this fun little treat, we've colored on a window sheet. You could try a cello bag or anything like that to give those materials a fun burst of color. So there is so much you can do with Blendabilities. You really just have to get them and start playing and find what works best for you. So visit our online store to see all of the colors and the full line of Blendabilities. You're gonna love them.